This is the ODU Coaches Show, sponsored by Chartway Federal Credit Union.
No more games here at SB Ballard Stadium this season, but still plenty of ODU football to discuss. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Chartway Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. The Monarchs look to snap a 4-game losing streak tomorrow at Appalachian State, and Coach Ronnie's message to the team, keep fighting. You said after the game your message was to fight. How have you liked the response so far from your guys?
I liked it. I've liked it. You know, I mean, I think that we've got to be consistent all the way through. You know, it's easy to fight for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3. It's something else to do it each and every play until, you know, the bitter end. You know, the 3 areas of focus I told our guys I really wanted to focus on was finish. I want us to finish every single play. I want us to play physical and on every single play. And then I want us to be accountable, not only to ourselves, but to the person we say we want to be in the future. And I think that those are the 3 things that we've got to really focus on, you know, throughout the end of the season.
Nobody needs to tell you any of the offensive numbers. You know them better than anybody else, I'm sure. And if you had some sort of quick solution, you've said before, it wouldn't be a problem because you could just flip the switch. With that said, what are some things you've noticed on the film that can help maybe turn that offense around for these last 2 games?
Well, we've got to do what we do in practice. You know, there's too many times where in practice we get a rep and they get 3 or 4 different looks at it, and each time it's properly executed against that look. And then we get to the game and something happens, and maybe the first or second part of it, or maybe it's a slightly different blocking scheme, or maybe it's a slightly different coverage, and we don't react the way that we did in practice. So 1 of 2 things is happening. We're either not practicing in a game, we're not taking those as game reps in practice, or we're feeling like the game is more important, and so we're panicking. And so we can't do those things. And so that's on us as coaches to make sure to put the guys in as many game-like situations as possible in order to have them succeed once we get to the game.
So you see some offensive flow during practice?
Yeah. And we just, we're not replicating it on the game. There's even some offensive flow during the games. It's just then we make a critical error that tends to stop us. You know, I mean, and so I think that those are the things that we have to eliminate. I mean, it's those critical errors that are stopping us from being able to score touchdowns and ultimately win games, really on both sides of the ball that's hampering us right now.
Well, and Ollie Jennings and Zach Kuntz both done for the year. Do you look for 1 or 2 guys specifically to set up, or is it more of a collective effort that everybody has to step up to kind of fill that void?
I think it's always a collective effort. I mean, you know, if you go back and you look at when we've been successful, you know, it hasn't always been, you know, every single play. It's been okay, bunch of guys get other touches, and then maybe Ali gets a couple explosives in a row, or for a couple games, you know, it was whatever, and then all of a sudden Zach gets 8 or 9 catches. So it's always a collective effort, and we just have to continue that way.
On the other side of the ball, Jason Henderson. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about a bright spot for you guys. Obviously, there are some reasons he's getting all of those tackles. And you've said before you'd like to see some other guys get in on some of those. But a Sun Belt record holder now, and he's approaching the FBS record. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's playing really, really well. You know, I think I've said it before. I'll reemphasize it. You know, his effort on each and every play and his ability to run sideline to sideline has been, you know, critical to racking up all those tackles. You know, the defensive line has done a nice job of spilling it to him and things like that as well. I think the one thing he's got to just continue to do is he can't try to do too much, and because that can be something that can lead to some other issues. For the most part, he's done a really nice job of that, and he has played within the scheme, and really those have been the games where he's even had more tackles, is when he hasn't tried to do too much. So I think he's done a nice job of doing that, and continue. You know, I'm planning to continue seeing him doing that for the next 2 weeks.
Is that common in football, where hey, when you're not putting pressure on yourself and you're just letting the game come to you, you can perform a little bit better because you don't put pressure on yourself mentally?
Yeah. I mean, yep. Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that where we're when we are struggling right now. It is the pressure of wanting to play well for our teammates and for ourselves, and because of all, we've got guys on our team that have really, really prepared themselves and are really, their expectations are that they're going to continue to prepare and do those sort of things, but their expectations also is when I prepare this hard, I get rewarded. Well, what happens is when you don't make a play that you know you've prepared to make, well then that starts to become a weight, an albatross around your neck, and I think that's what's holding us down right now. Is instead of allowing our preparation to be a buoy for us, it's actually become an anchor, and that's the thing that we've got to be able to get through from a mental standpoint.
Now, you had said after the game on Saturday that you were going to evaluate the tape and decide who's best to start going forward at every position. Are there any changes that anybody can expect tomorrow in the game against App State?
We're going to continue to evaluate that all the way through. I mean, there's some preparation that needs to be done, even, right up until game day. And so I think that's something that we're going to continue to do. I think that guys have bounced back, and the thing I like about it is I've seen more guys preparing as if they're the starter. And while we've always had that at a couple of positions, I think I've seen that from other positions a little bit more. This week.
The next chance to show that is tomorrow against Appalachian State. We're going to catch up with Coach about the Mountaineers when the Chartway Old Dominion Football Coaches Show continues right after.
Can hand the ball off to Watson. Watson makes the first guy miss inside the 30.
'Tis the season for holiday gifts and deliveries, but it's also prime time for porch pirates. News 3 examines the newest ways to protect your packages and stop porch pirates in their tracks so you don't waste your money. Monday morning.
At Chartway, part of our mission is to support and give back, bring hope, and do good every day. We've raised over $14 million to help children facing medical hardship, awarded $25,000 annually to Old Dominion's Athletic Scholarship Fund, and provided nearly $380,000 in awards to other Chartway student members. At Chartway, our people-first mindset is about doing what's right and what's kind, unlocking potential to help everyone thrive. Chartway, the official credit union of ODU Athletics.
Easy.
Peasy.
Easy.
Peasy. Easy?
Easy peasy.
At Checkered Flag, one friendly specialist will help you find a vehicle that's haggle-free, commission-free, and comes with a 3-day money-back guarantee. Quick and easy start to finish. Checkered Flag. Easy peasy.
When your back pain is your foot's fault. This is Dean's story.
I had back pain, and I honestly didn't know where to go.
Until a friend suggested the Good Feet store.
She had to explain to me the feet are connected to the back.
And get this.
As soon as I put on those Good Feet arch supports, the pressure lifted off my back. It's like finding that missing puzzle piece. Like, yes, this is it.
Stop by for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Attention, were you exposed to the toxic water at Camp Lejeune?
Congress has just passed the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, which makes billions of dollars available to victims of the toxic water supply. If you or your family were exposed, you may be entitled to a share of that money.
If you lived or worked at Camp Lejeune, even if you're not military, and have suffered any of these serious health problems, call 1-800-952-9400. That's 1-800-952-9400.
The most wonderful time to save is now. Experience Busch Gardens Christmastown, one of North America's largest holiday displays, with more than 10 million dazzling lights, festive shows, and thrilling rides, and the merriest moments of the season. Christmas shines brightest at the world's most beautiful theme park. Save up to 25% on 2-park memberships during our Black Friday sale. Hurry, offer ends November 25th.
Steps up in the pocket, wings it, pass, intercepted. Stephen Williams at midfield, near side at the 40, 35. He fumbles the football, and it's recovered by the Monarchs.
And that was Ted Alexander, 94.1 on the call, the Old Dominion Sports Radio Network. If you can't make it down to Boone or catch the game on ESPN+, be sure to catch Ted on the airwaves. And Coach, Appalachian State, the next team up here. Can you scout the Mountaineers for us, a team that's always seems to be the Sun Belt standard almost when you think about them?
Yeah, they've had some really close games this year. They've been able to come out on top on some crazy games, you know, a Hail Mary and things like that. They've had a great signature win over you know, Texas A&M, but then they've also had some you know, heartbreaking losses as well. You know, they're a team that and a program that expects to be at the very top of the conference, and right now they don't find themselves there. So I'm sure that they're feeling very similar to us, that they've got to, you know, play better, practice better, and go perform to the maximum of their ability. I know, you know, they play very, very well at home, and we're going to go into a hostile environment. They're a team that plays, they're very balanced on offense. They can throw it and they can run it. They've always been a run-based team, but the last 2 years they've been able to throw it around a little bit more and do those sort of things. And on defense, they're just very sound on defense. They'll take the ball away from you. They've been very good against the pass and been able to, you know, tackle people, get some PBUs and things like that. They've been excellent against the pass this year, so it'll be, you know, a great challenge for us. You know, when they're, you know, hitting all cylinders, they're one of the, you know, the very best teams, certainly in our league, but probably in the country. Yeah. And so, you know, it's something that we've got to make sure that, you know, we are locked in and ready to go.
Look at offense first. Chase Bryce, here's a guy with ACC experience. He seems to spread the ball around to a lot of receivers, and they have a running back too that's pretty reliable.
No, he puts the ball where it's supposed to go. You know, I mean, he's not necessarily looking for one guy or those sort of things. He knows where the play call is supposed to get the ball versus certain defenses, and he does a nice job of delivering the ball there. You know, they've always been an outside zone stretch team. They're very good at it. You know, there's been a couple games this year where they've really leaned on that. Their back's been kind of in and out of the lineup, which has kind of affected that a little bit. But when they need to lean on that running game, they can do that.
Other side of the ball, Nick Hampton leads the conference in sacks, leads the conference in forced fumbles. Talk about a guy you have to know where he is at all times.
Well, you're going to know where he is.
Hopefully not in the backfield, right?
Well, it's funny. They do it. I mean, they are a very base team, and they do. And I say that with, I couldn't be more respectful about that. I mean, they are going to line up. You're going to know where they're going to be. Now they have some variations off of it, which is even harder, right? They're lined up the same way every time, and then they kind of spin and do some things. So you're going to know where he is most of the time, and you better be ready to block him. He is an elite pass rusher. A lot of it is with his ability to bend and do some of those sort of things, but his effort is also, he's a great effort pass rusher. So I think that, you know, we've got to be ready to go with him. We've seen some other great pass rushers this year. But, you know, this is just our next challenge for our offensive line in that regard.
Well, and it's probably not just him either. I mean, because when you focus too much on one guy, that gives other guys opportunities.
Well, they do a nice job of trying to scheme them up to get as many one-on-one opportunities as they can. They also do a nice job of, you know, their secondary is good, right? And so they're going to take away as many easy throws as they can to try to get you to your second read in order for him to be able to get there and make the sack.
You mentioned the atmosphere, about it being hostile. I mean, you know, they seem to be, you know, in terms of environment, in terms of attendance, they're the class of the Sun Belt. Is it kind of where you'd like to see Old Dominion end up, you know, as you guys continue to climb?
Well, I think a lot of it is through tradition and those sort of things. I mean, you know, App has a great tradition, and that leads to them having a great fan base, you know, and then it adds on to itself, right? That fan base lets them keep their tradition, right? Because kids go there and visit for games, and they see this great environment, and they think, man, I want to play in this, I want to be part of this, and it allows them to continue to get good players in recruiting. So it's both. So, you know, we have to, you know, I understand our fans want to see a good product, and so we got to go out there, we got to win, we got to do those sort of things in order to do that. You know, I ask our fans to continue to support our team as much as possible, because that'll help us to get great players and those sort of things. But it's not hard to see that the two do correlate with each other.
Well, and Coach, and the Monarchs will be in the trenches in Boone, North Carolina tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+.
This is Todd. And this is Sarah.
She's leaving for Paris.
But this isn't your classic holiday rom-com. It's a Nissan Avantage.
Seriously?
Featuring the Nissan Rogue. And more standard power than a CR-V.
This is a love emergency.
Don't let true love or these offers get away.
Get $500 holiday bonus cash on select models.
At Chartway, part of our mission is to support and give back. We've raised over $14 million to help children facing medical hardship and provided nearly $380,000 in awards to Chartway student members. Chartway, the official credit union of ODU Athletics.
Don't miss the ODU Coaches Show with head coach Ricky Ronnie. Now in the Sun Belt Conference, the competition is fierce. Get the game plan on this week's matchup Friday nights at 7:30, only on News 3, sponsored by Chartway Federal Credit Union.
Merry Christmas. Santa, what are you doing here? I need help with the jewelry on my nice list.
You'll find the best selection of jewelry at Santa's favorite helper, Nathan's Lynnhaven Pawn.
Happy holidays.
5 minutes, fellas, 5 minutes.
I appreciate it, man. Oh, okay, you getting that bet in before the boom, huh?
Yeah, you LA all the way.
What? Oh, come on, man. You know it's Boston, baby.
KG, I understand why you said it, but it's LA.
Jay, are you serious?
You know what? It's LA.
Why are you standing up?
Because it's LA. You know what? You ain't scaring me. Let me tell you something. That ain't enough.
Boston, Boston, Boston.
It's LA.
Honda innovation is perfect for life in Hampton Roads. Whether it's towing power, intelligent traction control, or our most advanced safety. It's no wonder Honda is America's most loved auto brand. Right now, your trade-in is worth more than ever. And we know exactly what new Hondas are on the way. So stop in and reserve your new Honda at your Hampton Roads Honda dealer. Honda, it's the perfect ride for Hampton Roads.
It hardly ever snows at our house this time of year, which can be a big bummer. But I still check every day, just in case. My mom says never give up, because the holidays are full of miracles. And they are, especially with my mom.
You're always there for them, and we're always here for you. Food Lion, here for every moment.
Don't miss the chance to see the legendary Kathleen Turner at the American Theater as she takes you on an entertaining behind-the-scenes journey through her stage and film career on Saturday, November 19th. For tickets, visit theamericantheater.org.
Appalachian State boasts one of the best environments in the Sun Belt, routinely putting more than 30,000 people in the stands. An exciting environment for the ODU players come tomorrow.
They're a solid team. They can run the ball well. They can pass the ball well. They're a very well-coached team. Something that, you know, it's no different than any other week.
They're definitely going to be driven. They're going to be hungry. What do they have, 5 wins? Like, they're hungry for bowl eligibility, and you have to go in there expecting them to be, I mean, they're at home. It's probably their senior night. Yeah. So, like, they're going to be hungry, and they're going to want to win.
As long as we go out and go 1-0, obviously, and have a great week of practice, I think our team will be well prepared.
ODU players getting set to face the Mountaineers of App State tomorrow, and now it's your chance to ask Coach a few questions. Coach, we got 3 pretty good ones here. First off, from Alan in Norfolk. And Alan, I think I might know the answer to this one already, but do you ever get a chance to go to an NFL game?
No, traditionally not. I've been to a couple. You know, but traditionally, no, I don't get to go. My family will go. You know, my family, my wife's a big Steelers fan, and so she will go to those. But occasionally, if like one of the guys I've coached before comes in, you know, maybe plays either the Ravens or the Commanders, then yeah, they'll head up to that game.
Even after the season, you don't get a much like any December or January games, or are you just so busy doing other things and putting a cap on the season and getting ready for the next one, maybe?
Well, it's all recruiting at that point.
Yeah.
So we got every weekend's basically recruiting weekend, and so yeah, even then, no, you don't get anything.
Yeah, not much rest for the weary here. Alan, thanks for the question. Let's go to Hayden from Manio. What's on TV at your house when it's not sports?
So we watched House of Dragons. I was very against like Game of Thrones for a long time.
Okay.
It was just like a complete stubborn thing. Like I'm just not going to do it because everyone else is.
Yeah.
Very contrarian of me. But Eventually, my wife convinced me, and then I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. So watch the whole thing. I loved it. Not the last season. Last season was trash, but everything else was excellent. And then I liked the House of Dragons. It was good. I like Yellowstone. Watch that. If I'm just in the house and like no one else is hanging out with me or whatever, it's stupid stuff. It's like I like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I shouldn't, but I do. I like Family Guy. I like comedies in general. Like I like to laugh, so that's what I like. And then I love to indulge in a couple things. One is Ancient Aliens. On the History Channel.
All right.
So that's like the one that like is like the theory of like aliens did all like the pyramids and did everything, and then they left. Like I don't see, that's the thing they never really describe is like why they just like skedaddled. You know? But then so that's one thing, and then I like pawn, like you know, like the pawn shop.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Pawn Stars.
Yeah, Pawn Stars. Yeah, I like those. Like and then I like a lot of stuff on the History Channel. Like, very, very, very nerdy, stupid things like that. Yeah.
Lastly, from Robert in Windsor, best football movie in your opinion? You got a lot to pick from here. Any Given Sunday.
Well, no, you got so.
Little Giants.
No. Little Giants. No. Brian's song.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're a grown man and you say you don't cry to Brian's song, you're a liar. You're a liar, right? So that should be the number one thing that if women want to see whether a guy is a liar or not, ask them the question whether they cried at Brian's song, and if they say no,
run for the hills.
Yeah, they're lying to you. They're a liar. So that one's definitely one. I like Program when I was younger. You know, I kind of saw myself as that quarterback, not from the whole substance abuse.
Right.
Everything else. Yeah, the whole slinging around thing, you know. So I liked that. You know, I like the book Friday Night Lights better than I like the movie. Although the movie's not bad, but I like the book a little bit better, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's funny, I don't think that there's been a whole lot of great football movies. There's way better baseball movies.
I agree.
Way better baseball movies, you know? So we need to make a great football movie, just like The Natural. Like it's hard to compare it to that.
That's very true. The Natural is one of the best baseball movies ever made.
Yeah.
No question. So we need a football version of The Natural. That's what Coach will work on in his post-coaching career. Yeah. And if you have a question for the coach, just email askthecoach@WTKR.com or reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. We'll be sure to get Coach your question. Still ahead, the Monarchs join the nation in mourning 3 UVA football players as the Chartway Old Dominion Football Coaches Show continues right after this.
I'd like to report a crime. The Secretary of the Navy is trying to kill me.
Investigate the Secretary of the Navy. He's a whack job.
We have to treat her like any other suspect.
No. Call an ambulance. He was poisoned.
Follow the evidence.
Federal agent.
Like we always do.
Don't know if the SecNav was behind it.
I think we're missing something. What's this, kid?
Plot twist.
A new NCIS after Bob Hart's Abishola, Monday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
When a clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. Yeah! And that's why they all start dancing. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
If you overdraw your account, Wells Fargo gives you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with a grace period? Like accidentally parking where you shouldn't.
Hey, what about this one? Nah, that one gets an extra day. Somebody got lucky.
Like having an extra day grace period? When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get $1,500 total cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy Cybercash. Visit ChevyCybercash.com today.
This year, give yourself a gift that will enhance the beauty and value of your home. Call us and one of these beautiful baths can be installed by December 22nd. Take advantage of our Easy Pay program. No money down, no payments till 2024, or payments as low as $99 a month. We'll even throw in 50% off labor. Let us put our 52 years of experience and customer trust to work for you. Get your dream bath by December 22nd from Jacuzzi Bath Remodel by Mr. Fix-It.
Paper bottles, metal cans, they fit our recycling plans. Do it right in your household bin. Empty, clean, and dry for the win. The plastic bottles you throw out must have a neck or spout. For paper and the metal cans, no food or grease. We're not fans. The goal? Avoid contamination. Recycle right and celebration. Partner TFC Recycling shares our passion for enlightening. Start smart, recycle right, we say. Visit askhrgreen.org today.
When our clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. Yeah! And that's why they all start dancing. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Welcome back to the Chartway Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. It was back in September that the Monarchs traveled to Scott Stadium to play a thriller against the University of Virginia. Part of the Cavaliers program were wide receivers Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and linebacker Deshaun Perry. Now 2 months later, the Monarchs are amongst a country mourning the deaths of those same 3 players after a shooting in Charlottesville on Sunday night. Ricky Ronnie's group is gaining a whole new perspective from the tragedy, a perspective that linebacker Jason Henderson knows far too well.
It's kind of hard to even speak about this.
Even after 4 years, Jason Henderson remembers how hard it was to lose a teammate and a friend.
Unfortunately, that's something I've been through before. When I was in high school, we lost our quarterback, and that was devastating.
While the circumstances were different, Jason's teammate died in a car crash. The linebacker has a unique empathy for the Cavalier football program.
It only allows me to realize what they're going through, and all I want to be able to do is, have them in my thoughts and prayers. And I feel for everyone that is in the situation right now.
Monarch players and coaches stunned that a stadium they played a game in this season is being turned into a memorial.
It's hard for me, so I'm sure it's hard for everybody to be able to think that, 8 short weeks ago we were out there competing against these people, and now their futures and their lives are gone.
I could never imagine what it feels like to be on a team that happens, and I really don't know where they go from here. It's a very, very tough situation for them, and I feel for them and I feel for their families.
And simple things like a rare Monday team meeting carried a much different weight.
Just put eyes on them. Let the guys know that we're here for them if they need to talk.
As the Silver and Blue head to Boone on Saturday, they know to cherish each other just a little more. As a nation of football mourns the loss of 3 of its own.
That's something devastating that you never want to hear of.
Virginia Athletics announced on Wednesday that its game for Saturday against Coastal Carolina is being canceled. There's no word yet on if the Cavaliers will play their regular season finale against Virginia Tech. I'm Zach State, News 3 Sports.
That wraps up tonight's edition of the Chartway Old Dominion Football Coaches Show. Old Dominion at Appalachian State tomorrow, 2:30 on ESPN+. Have a great evening, everybody, and go Monarchs.
Intercepted by Artarian Johnson.